Questions 11 through 20 on the 2019 Grade 10 Cayley Math Contest. In the diagram, numbers are to be placed in the circles so that each circle that is connected to two circles above it will contain the sum of the numbers contained in the two circles above it. What is x? As you can see, 100 plus 500 is 600. So that's basically the rule. So this number, whatever it is, plus 600 has to equal 119. So that number, 1119, I should say, is going to be that number, and that is 519. So that's what goes in here, 519. And then very similarly, this number plus that number equals 2019. So this number is going to be 2019 minus 1119. And that is 900. So 900 goes in here. And then finally, x plus 519 is equal to 900. So x plus 519 is equal to 900. And therefore, x is equal to 381. So number 11, the answer is B. In the regular pentagon, the measure of each interior angle is 108. If PQRST is a regular pentagon, then the measure of PRS is PRS. So we want this angle in here. Okay, so if this is going to be x, that's going to be x, because this is an isosceles triangle. That's what those lines mean. So that means if that internal angle is 108, which is what the question told me, 108 plus x is 180. So 2x will be equal to, what's that, 72? And therefore x is 36. So now this angle, PRS, will be equal to that angle, which is 108, minus x. So PRS, that angle, will be equal to the internal angle, which is 108, minus x. So that's 108 minus 36, and that is 72. Number 12, the answer is A. In the addition problem shown, M, N, P, and Q represent positive digits. When the problem is completed correctly, the value of M plus N plus P plus Q is. All right, so we got to fiddle around with this here. So let's do it one column at a time. We got 3 plus 2 plus Q is equal to 2. Well, obviously it's not going to be equal to 2, so it's most likely equal to 12. So that's 5 plus Q is equal to 12. So that means Q is 7. So Q is 7, and therefore it's 12, so there's going to be a carry, right? So now let's concentrate on that column. That column gives me 1 plus 6 plus P plus 8 is equal to 4. So that's what? This 15 plus P is equal to 4. Well, obviously it's not 4, probably 14, but it's not 14 either, because P has to be positive. It even tells you that in the question. So it's most likely 24. So that means P is 9. And there's going to be a carry, and the carry this time is 2. Now let's concentrate on that column. And it might as well include the M in there. So that gives me 2 plus N plus 7 plus 5 is equal to M and then a 0. So this is what? 14 plus N is equal to M plus a 0. And the only way this would work is if N is 6 and M is a 2. It would be 20 is equal to 20. And I encourage you to plug all those numbers back in here and verify. And then M plus N plus P plus Q would be 2 plus 6 plus 9 plus 7. So that's what? 16 plus 8, which is 24. Number 13. The answer is B. The letters A, B, C, D, E are to be placed in the grid so that each of these letters appears exactly once in each of the rows and each of the columns. Which letter goes into the square marked with a star? Let's begin. Let's concentrate on that. A, B, E is there. So C and D are missing. Well, C can't go here because it's already here. It can only appear once in each row. So C must go there. And therefore, the only letter remaining is D, and that must go there. Okay, so that's simple enough. So let's keep going with the same sort of strategy. Now, where should I concentrate on? I'm going to concentrate on this guy, this column. A, C, and D are already there, so the only thing missing are B and E. E can't go here because E is already there. It can only appear once in each column. So therefore, E must go here. And therefore, the only letter remaining is B, and that goes there. Okay, now where do we want to go next? I guess we can concentrate on this. There's several ways of doing this, but let's just go there. A, C, and D are there already, so only things that are missing are B and E. E cannot go there because it's already in that row. So therefore, E must go here. And the only letter remaining is B, so that goes there. All right, where do we want to go now? I think I'll go here, that row. A, B, E are already there. Only thing missing are C and D. C cannot go here since it's already in that column, and therefore C must go here. So A, B, C, D therefore goes there. Okay, moving right along here. And where can we go? This is sort of a play around question. Let's try this one here. I think that'll help. D, C, B are already there. A and E are missing. E cannot go here since it's already right there beside. So that means E must go here, and therefore A must go here. And then now I'm finally ready for that one. C, A, E are already there. B and D are missing. So where can I put B? B can't go here because it's already there. Therefore, B must go here. And therefore, D goes here. The star is B. Number 14, the answer is B. In the diagram, the line segments PQ and PR are perpendicular. The value of S is. Well, if the lines are perpendicular, their slopes will be negative reciprocals. So first, let's calculate the slopes. For PQ, the slope would be S minus 2 over 2 minus 0. And that's just S minus 2 over 2. For RQ, the slope would be 1 minus 2 over 4 minus 0, which is negative 1 over 4. Now, these two are negative reciprocals. So that basically means that when you multiply them together, they result in negative 1. So, for example, if one slope was m, the other slope is negative 1 over m. And when you multiply them together, they equal negative 1. Okay, so let's do this here. This becomes 2 minus s over 8 is equal to negative 1. So that means 2 minus s is equal to negative 8, and therefore s would be equal to 10. Number 15, the answer is C. Cow Cab is standing in a cafeteria line. In the line, the number of people that are ahead of her is equal to 2 times the number of people that are behind her. There are n people in the line. A possible value for n is. She is in a line, and let's just say she's right here. Right here approximately. So if there's x people in front of her, there's 2x people behind her, according to the question. Number of people in the line would be 2x plus her, so that's 1 person plus x. So that's 3x plus 1. And they're saying which one of these could be 3x plus 1. Well, 3x plus 1 is obviously a multiple of 3 plus 1. So, for example, if x was 6, that would be 18 plus 1, which is 19. If x was 7, that would be 21 plus 1, which is 22. If x plus 3, it would be 24 plus 1, which is 25. And you get the idea. And of those, the only one that's present is 25. None of these else could be in the form 3x plus 1. So number 16, the answer is E. A solid wooden rectangular prism measures 3 by 5 by 12. The prism is cut in half by a vertical cut through 4 vertices as shown. This cut creates 2 congruent triangular-based prisms. When these prisms are pulled apart, what is the surface area of one of these triangular-based prisms? Well, let's label this. It's already labeled. I'll just continue to label it the way they've done it. 12. This is 5. I think that should be good enough. The first thing I want to do is calculate that diagonal. And that can be easily done using Pythagoras. And that's going to be 13. And some of you already know a 5, 12, 13 triangle is a right triangle. All right, I think I'm ready to figure out the surface area. So the first one will be the top, the bottom and the top, and those are exactly the same. So it's 2 times 1/2 base times height, where the base is 12 and the height is 5. And then we will calculate that side, which is a rectangle. So that's just a 3 by 12 rectangle. And then this side here, which is another rectangle, it's a 5 by 3 rectangle. And then the last part is this shaded side, and that is what? It's a 3 by 13 rectangle. All right, so 12 times 5 is 60 plus 36 plus 15 plus 39. When you add up those numbers, you get 150. Number 17, the answer is D. Carl and Andre are running a race. Carl runs at a speed of x meters per second. Andre runs at a speed of y meters per second. Carl starts running, and then Andre starts running 20 seconds later. After Andre has been running for 10 seconds, he catches up to Carl. The ratio of y over x is equivalent to. Speed is equal to distance over time, or time is equal to distance over speed, either way. Now, we are told that they eventually catch up, right? So if we were to draw a little diagram here, let's say they start off here, and then eventually they catch up to each other here. But the thing is, Carl starts running, and Andre is initially just staying at the starting line. Andre doesn't start for 20 seconds. So that has to be taken into consideration. So basically what that means is that the time it takes Carl to complete this distance, and whatever you want to call it, we can call it D, is equivalent to the time it takes Andre plus 20 seconds. So for example, if he took 60 seconds, it would have taken Andre 40 seconds because he starts 20 seconds later. So that's why the equation is like this. Okay, so now let's just use this guy, D over S. So 20 plus D over S. D is, well, we don't know what D is. And then S is the speed for Andre, which is Y, according to the question. And then for this calculation, it would be, again, D over S. D is just D, and then the speed for Andre is X, according to the question. Okay. And then we know another thing, that Andre has been running for 10 seconds. So his time is actually 10 seconds. So this is 10. So that basically means that 20 plus 10 is equal to D over X. And therefore 30 is equal to D over X. And D is equal to 30X. All right, so now I guess we're ready for the comparison of Y and X. And we can do that just by concentrating on this guy right here. No need to do anything else. The time for A is D over Y. The time for A, they told me in the question, is 10 seconds. And then D, I just calculated as 30x. And that's over Y. So if we manipulate this a little bit, we get Y over X is equal to 30 over 10, which is 3 over 1. So 3 to 1, number 18, the answer is D. If x and y are positive integers with x, y equal to 6, the sum of all possible values of 2 over x plus y over 2 to the power of x minus y. 2 to the power of x plus y over 2 to the power of x minus y. Let's simplify this. 2 to the power of x plus y minus x minus y. So that's going to be 2 to the power of x plus y minus x plus y. And the x's cancel, so you just get 2 to the power of 2y. Now let's look at x times y is equal to 6. Let's make a little table for ourselves. Okay, they're integers, so the only possibilities are 6 and 1, 3 and 2, 2 and 3, and 1 and 6. And I've got to figure out that for each of those. So 2 to the 2y when y is 6 would be 2 to the 12. 2 to the 2y when y is 3 would be 2 to the 6. When y is 2 would be 2 to the 4. When y is 1 would be 2 squared. And we are asked to add them. So let's do that. When you add them, this is 4096, this is 64, this is 16, and this is 4. That total sum is 4180. Number 19, the answer is 8. In the diagram, each of the circles with centers x, y, and z are tangent to the two other circles. Also, the circle with center x touches the three sides of the rectangle PQRS, and the circle with center z touches two sides of rectangle PQRS as shown. If xy is 30, yz is 20, and xz is 40, the area of the rectangle PQRS is closest to. Well, we are going to draw some lines here, and hopefully those lines would help us figure this question out. And let's see, do I need any other lines? Yeah, I think one more. I think that should be sufficient. One line like that. Okay, so now let's start labeling this. I'm going to call this R1. So that is the radius of the large circle. So this would basically be 2R1. This from here to here looks like R1. From here to here is R2, the radius of the medium-sized circle. And then obviously I'm going to have to figure out that part. And that part is the same as this part. Now that's going to be a Pythagorean relationship right there, because this is a right angle. So this hypotenuse looks like R1 and R2. And then this segment here, that looks like R1 minus R2. And then this segment I can just call X, whatever you want to call it. So that means R1 minus R2 squared plus X squared will be R1 plus R2 all squared. That will allow me to figure out X. And then I can just use the area formula. Area is going to be 2R1 times R1 plus X plus R2. That should be it. Okay. Well, obviously I need to figure out what is R1 and R2 and X. These are just letters. And that's where this information comes in. XY. XY is 30. So this little guy, I guess we have to label R3. That little guy there. So that means that R3 plus R1 is 30. The next one, YZ. Where's YZ? That's R3 plus R2. R3 plus R2 is equal to 20. And then XZ, that's R1 plus R2, and that is equal to 40. So this is the system of equations we have to solve. And here we go. So from this guy, R1 will be equal to 30 minus R3. From here, we can get that R2 is equal to, or probably better to use this guy instead, R2 is equal to 20 minus R3. And then what I can do is I can substitute both of those into there. So R1 is 30 minus R3, R2 is 20 minus R3, and that would be 40. So that would mean that 30 plus 20 is 50. 50 minus 40 is 10. 10 is equal to 2R3. So that means R3 is equal to 5. And then substituting back into here, this would give me that R1 is 25 and R2 is 15. Okay, we're ready to tackle this now. This guy would therefore become R1 minus R2, which would be 10 squared, plus X squared. And then R1 plus R2 is 40 squared. So this looks like 1600 minus 100, 1500, and of course we got to take the square root. So x is root 1500. Now the area would be 2 times R1, which is 50, times 25, plus root 1500, plus R2, which is 15. And get out your calculator, do the number crunching, and when you do, you get 3936 approximately. And that is closest to 3950. Number 20, the answer is E.